Greetings, everybody. This is Pastor Matt with another edition of the Connection Group Scoop on the Run. Hey, tonight I just want to talk about some important things about discipleship. Discipleship, as you know, and as you've heard me say, that most church leaders across the country believe small groups are the most effective environment for discipleship. So with that in mind, I want you to keep focus of your connection group is a discipleship group. It's where discipleship is and needs to take place on a regular basis with intentionality, with you thinking through how might I help people grow tonight. And one of the things that I'd like to throw out just to kind of get our discussion going today is this. You know, when Jesus gave the Great Commission that we all know of, go and make disciples of all nations, it's interesting that he didn't say go and be a disciple in all nations. He said go and make disciples. You know why I believe he said that? Jesus was the great strategist. I believe he said it that way because here's the scoop. In order for us to become a disciple, we need to be in the process of making disciples. You see, that is the secret sauce. That's the key ingredient in becoming a disciple maker, is when we can change the DNA of our groups from people who think, I'm coming to group tonight to be fed. I'm coming, feed me group. If we can change that mentality, if we can change that DNA to, I'm coming to group tonight to feed somebody else, to invest in somebody else, to make a disciple of somebody else, to use the gifts, the talents, the experiences, the quiet time that I had this week, I'm going to use those things in group tonight because I'm going to invest in somebody in group tonight, and I'm going to share those things and I'm going to help them grow. And then what happens is they in turn grow. That's how it is set up. Jesus expects us to be disciple makers. In order for us to do that, he says, go and make disciples. When we make disciples, we became stronger in our discipleship. So ways that we can do that in the group are, you can talk about this with your group. You can tell them the exact thing that I just said, to invite them to come into the group ready to give to the group instead of just receive. It puts them on the offense of wanting to help other people. You could talk about the things that you learned and discovered in your personal quiet time, again, which is modeling to them that they can go and have a quiet time and learn things and glean some truth from God's word that they can apply to their lives, but not only apply to their lives, but they can come to group with the expectation to share that with somebody else in group that will help them in their relationship. Because when we invest in other people, we become disciples. So you can even say it in the group. Hey, today, this week, I learned in my quiet time. Hey, what did you guys learn in your quiet time? Which really kind of opens the door for them to begin sharing and investing in other people. Really, really important. Hey, another thing that I've been thinking about in as far as discipleship in our connection groups, this whole thing of grace and truth. Grace and truth are just an amazing thing that we need to learn how to balance. Here's what I'm talking about. That couple that might be new to connection group or might be new to Christianity, they're young in their faith, and maybe one of them brings up, and what about reincarnation? Or some doctrine that's off the wall like that. But because of media and because of movies, it becomes part of somebody that doesn't have the truth yet. So you have the ability at this point to do some truth and grace balancing. If you were all truth, you could really hurt them, judge them out of the group and maybe even out of church by almost laughing at them and, what? Are you kidding me? Where'd you learn your theology? And that might be true, where did they get that crazy theology? But if we respond with just truth, that's the dumbest thing in the world. I can't. Without the grace, the grace and truth balance might be. You know what? That's a good question, and there's so many people in the world that believe that, but there's no biblical basis for that theology, and therefore we don't believe that, and we don't adhere to that doctrine, or something like that has some truth and grace, instead of just responding like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you believe that." And then the other end of the spectrum is the grace thing, where we're too wimpy and we kind of let it go by, and we just offer so much grace because we don't want to offend them, we don't want to tell them that that's not true, and we just kind of let it go. And what we need to be as connection group leaders are people who can balance that truth and grace really, really well. So I want to encourage you to work on those things, develop that DNA in your group that is all about investing in people and making disciples and coming to the group to feed. And then that debating, or not debating, but using that fine line between grace and truth and how we respond to people that might be younger in their faith, so that we can come alongside them and keep encouraging them and growing them by offering them truth and grace at the same time. Well, this has been Pastor Matt with another edition of the Connection Group Scoop on the Run. Until next time, let's make some disciples.